and welcome back to Coffee with a Kick. I'm Xander, that's Keegan, and we are here for a busy Saturday and all of Matchday 23 action coming up this weekend. Some big ones, some real juicy big ones coming up this weekend. Glad to have you all here. Keegan, how's it going? I didn't ask you how you're doing at the beginning of the last one. I hope you're doing all right.
Doing all right.
I'm
doing all right. Happy to be here. Ready to predict 10-0 this Saturday.
10-0. Neither of us have got 10-0.
Manifesting it now. 10-0.
Wow. He's saying 10-0. You know what's going to help us go 10-0 is a like and a subscribe. Ring that bell. Cool. Goodbye. We're going to carry on with the episode now. Cool. All right. Here we go. First one up this weekend. Everton hosts Tottenham Hotspur at good old Goodison Park. How do you feel they fare up there in Liverpool?
I think Everton will be hard-pressed to have not gotten a point when they played Fulham. I think they come out 1-1 draw.
Really?
Tottenham feel really good about their Brentford win, but with the short week, I feel like Everton's defensive style of play helps the short week. The attacking styles of play always seem to get throttled back when there are so many games, so I'm going 1-1.
Well, I could not disagree more. I think that Maddison being back, Spurs, I think they figured out in that second half. I think they keep it rolling, and and Everton, man, I just don't know. I don't know if they've got it in them I think that their ability to stay up for this season is going to come down to whether or not their appeal reduces their point penalty at all. I think it's going to come down to that, because I don't trust them with Luton Town figuring some things out here. I mean, they're a different team than they were Luton Town than at the beginning of this season where they looked totally lost. So they're chasing now Everton. Everton's now chasing. And similar to their play style, I don't know if they can catch up. I've got it as a 3-0 victory for Everton. Sorry, not for Everton. For Spurs. I think that Maddison gets 2 assists here. No goals, but 2 assists. Maybe one of them is a hockey assist, so it doesn't count in soccer. But, I think he's integral in that 3-0 victory for Spurs. And I think Spurs are going to try to make it interesting, even more interesting up at the top of the table here to come towards the end of the season. We'll see, but Spurs I'm feeling good about again. Then next up there at the Amex, speaking of riding the ship, can Brighton figure things out? Crystal Palace figured it out in the midweek with their win. But do you think that Brighton's going to figure things out? I think that, what are they, goalless in the last 3? Is that right? Yeah, goalless in their last 3, Brighton is, after such a productive beginning of the season.
Little history with this match. Head-to-head in the last 5, Brighton has 1 win, and there have been 4 draws.
Wow.
All 4 draws have ended 1-1. The only victory was a 1-0. I think, just like December 21st, it will be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I can certainly see it being that way. But the theme of my picks for this week are trends continuing. I think that Brighton doesn't figure it out yet. I just, they've looked so inept in some of their last matches that I think they lose this one 2-0 to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace got spanked by Arsenal. They survived Sheffield. The only problem, I say that, and then I recall the fact that their 2 strikers just got injured in the last one. So, boy, that seems like a bad pick now. I think I kind of want to change it. No, I'll stick with it. I believe in Eze. I think that he's going to get himself a brace in this one, and that's how they're going to get their goals, because he's the only one left almost to score for Crystal Palace. But I would like the record to show that I do recognize that it's probably a bad pick. That's always great when you know that you're probably going to lose it going into it. Anyway, going into this next one, we've got Burnley and Fulham. Two teams that really could use a win here. Two teams that really could use a win. I think that Burnley pulls it off. What did I say? 2-0? Because Fulham hasn't scored in 2 matches either. So I think that continues. But that Burnley, they've been able to score even if they've lost. So I think that they get 2 here and helps them, keep pace with those other teams. Or actually, not really keep pace because they are 7 points back of Luton at this point. But, Luton's got Newcastle, which we'll cover here in a second, and that's revitalized Newcastle defense with people. It's amazing what you can do when your entire team isn't injured. It's crazy, but we'll get to that one in a second. How do you think Burnley and Fulham handle themselves?
Burnley won the reverse fixture 2-0 at Craven Cottage. I think they win this one 3-1.
Wow.
I think that Burnley is going to start to feel the pressure of its crunch time. We got to start playing well. We got to start getting goals. I think this starts a good run of form for them. I think 3-1.
They will take it for sure. They will certainly take it. Here comes Newcastle and Luton Town. That is our next matchup. Only this time it is in the Toonies, right? Yeah, they're the Toonies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, the Toonies home stadium. There's St. James's Park, 10 a.m. on Saturday. How do you think Luton gets anything out of this one? They've been playing somewhat decent. Do you think they get anything?
Newcastle's been playing pretty decent recently. So is Luton. Luton has gotten 7 points out of their last 9. I see this as a 2-2 draw.
Really?
I don't think Newcastle's quite back yet. I think Luton's in good form. I think I go 2-2. Luton won the reverse fixture 1-0 at Luton. So I think this was exciting. 2-2.
Well, they're not at Kenilworth Road this time. They're at St. James's Park. However, I also have it 2-2. Because I think Luton had caught whiff of what they needed to do before Burnley did, is what happened. And they're fighting for their lives, and they're fighting pretty well, to be honest. So I think they keep it rolling a bit here with another point. Listen, a point at St. James's Park is a good result for anybody. So that's where I'm going with it. And we'll see what happens. Newcastle could very well blank them as well, because their defense was well organized against Aston Villa in the midweek. And one thing about defense is that you can maintain defense on a short schedule better than you can an attack, in my opinion. That your defense, the classic thing that defense travels. Speaking of defense that does not travel, though, Sheffield United takes on Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa really, really feels good about this because they have had it rough these past couple weeks. They skated by Burnley. They 0-0 drew Everton. Got walloped by Newcastle most recently, and they've got 2 points in their last 5 at least. Oh, what is it? Yeah, 2 points in their last 5. I don't currently have their schedule pulled up further back than that, but that's not what you're looking for. So I think that they do. I do think they do benefit from catching Sheffield in the schedule and take it 4-1. As a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah, we're close. I have it 3-1. I think Aston Villa needs this victory. Losing would be demoralizing.
Oh man!
Even though it's at Field, I think it would be pretty tough to lose. So I think they come out inspired, and it's an easy 3-1 victory.
Yeah. They tend to be easy victories when it's Sheffield United. And Sheffield United, they haven't instilled confidence in anyone recently. I mean, they could have beaten Crystal, but they blew their chances. Then that wraps up our Saturday action. brings us over to Sunday. Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest at 9 a.m. at Vitality Stadium. How do you have the Cherries going? Do you have them getting any points here?
I have them winning 2-1.
Stop. Are you cheating off of my sheet here? I already have it down as 2-1 for myself.
I just think that Bournemouth also needs a win. Nottingham has gotten a goal here and there, but they haven't really shown they can stay in form. So, yeah, I think it'll end up being 2-1 Bournemouth. That home crowd's going to make a difference.
Yeah, I think this comes down to home crowd. I think that's exactly right. I think that Bournemouth has done pretty well over the last 5 match days for themselves. They just beat Nottingham Forest barely even over 6 weeks ago. The 23rd, they played and beat them at Nottingham Forest. So I think that they, like I said, get them 2-1 here at home. It could be more. I mean, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth has not played poorly, and Nottingham Forest has kind of taken a step back from their form a few weeks ago, back at near the very end of December. So we'll see if they can get things back on, but I don't think it happens yet. And then we move down to Stamford Bridge, and as I always say, good old London town on USA and Telemundo here if you're in the United States. Chelsea hosts my Wolves. My Wolves. See, now I've got a scoreline here for this one that's somewhat reminiscent of what we were talking about for the midweek action, but I feel like we need it this time. I feel like we maybe figured some things out in the second half. Well, the last 20 minutes of the match against Manchester United. I think it carries through here because Chelsea is also has fallen back to their old ways of almost seeming to not care about a lot of things when it comes down to it. I think we take them 3-1 on the road at Stamford Bridge, and I think we just really demoralize that. I think we get an early one and get the crowd out of it a little bit. So we've seen this script 1,000 times already this season, and then we capitalize on that. And I think Neto gets another goal for himself, a goal and an assist for himself in this match.
Yeah, this pick, you took a pick off of my sheet. I also have it 3-1 to the Wolves. I just think that they're a better side in general. They've had their ups and downs. They look more cohesive as a team. They have an identity. Chelsea can't quite figure out what their identity is and if they want to even play. So I think 3-1, Wolves are going to be a little bit more motivated to get some points out of it.
Yeah, and that will also flip our positions on the table because they're currently 10 and we're in 11. So, hey, I ain't mad about that. And it'll put us positive on goal. Wait, no. Level on goal difference. Which is always nice. Always nice to be level on goal difference. Now to my favorite team to pick. West Ham goes to Old Trafford in Manchester. Manchester United versus West Ham. How do you have this one going? I don't have, I'll repeat this every time, I do not have a good idea of how this one's going to go.
Yeah, I think it will end up being 1-1. In their last 4 Premier League match days, the winning side has shut out the other side. West Ham won it 2-0 in the reverse fixture. I think Man United wants to get a win here, but West Ham's defense is a little bit too stalwart. I think another penalty goal. West Ham gets another pin goal. So 1-1. That's my pick. Going 10-0. Lock it in.
10-0. I've got this one as a draw as well. So, maybe we still got some enough crossover here that I can keep some pace with you. But I've got it as a 2-2 draw. This is a 6-7 matchup on the table. So, they aren't playing for a pittance here. They're trying to get up into maybe doing some European stuff next year. But they got to keep working at it because there's a bit of a gap there between both these Uniteds and Aston Villa, who's up at 43 still. So they'll both press for the victory. I mean, Manchester United obviously wants to get a victory at home. But I don't think either of them pull it off. Ends up feeling like I feel like it kind of ends up feeling like the which match was it? Last match day? kind of like the Fulham Everton match, where both sides feel like they had a chance to take it, but neither of them did.
Yep.
And then they both leave in the same place that they came in, 6 and 7, just a point higher on the table. Which brings us to the big match of the weekend. Arsenal versus Liverpool. This is a 1v3. Arsenal is level on City with at points. Just City's got a better goal difference. But this time it is at Emirates Stadium in London. The reverse fixture was a 1-1 draw when it was at Liverpool's place. So how do you get this one going?
I think Liverpool keeps it up in a thriller. 3-2, Liverpool takes it at the Emirates.
Really?
I think they're playing a little bit more inspired than Arsenal. Arsenal kind of fell asleep at the end of the last one. I don't think they wake up for this one until it's too late.
Boy, I'm looking at what I wrote down here for my pick, and I think it's mostly just a contrarian pick. I've got it 4-2 Arsenal over Liverpool. But I must not have just been thinking right, because Liverpool did look really good in the midweek.
You never know.
They didn't look like they were exerting themselves either, so I feel like they'll be relatively fresh comparatively. But I'm going to stick with, just like with my other pick that I don't think is very good, up there with Brighton and Crystal Palace. I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go 4-2 with Arsenal, which makes the title race very interesting. Even if it's a draw, that makes the title race interesting, because I do think that this next match will be quite good for the side in second. Oh, my lighting setup, which is totally professional. I had to fix there for a moment. Speaking of the title race, this last match of the match week, Brentford and Manchester City, 3 p.m. on Monday at G-Tech Community Stadium. Does Brentford have a shot? I say no. I've got this. Oh, I wrote that backwards. I had it as a 4-1 victory for Brentford, but this is a 4-1 victory for Manchester City. I think that they're healthy now. The fact that they're in second and they've been pretty banged up over these past. I mean, they hadn't had KD back for a full match. Well, they haven't had him back for a full match. He hasn't played a full match this whole season because he got injured in the first match day. And then he just came back 2 match days ago to get a little bit at the end, the 70th minute onward. And then he played through to, I think about the 70th minute in the last match. So he still hasn't put a full 90 in at any point in the season. And I think they'll try to get, I think they might, nah, they're not going to start Holland. He was too rusty. I don't think that they'll start Holland in this one. He may come in maybe a little bit earlier in the second half. It'll depend on how the game's playing out. But I think that City takes it pretty handily because they looked really good against Burnley in the midweek. And again, not very hard. You know, they didn't work hard to get that 3-1 victory.
Yeah. Monday Night Football under the lights. I think Erling Haaland's going to start. I think he gets a hat trick.
Wow.
Man City wins 6-0. And we reestablished the dominance that is who we are as the champions. Brentford is reeling. I mean, they got to feel terrible about losing to Tottenham after putting in such a good effort.
Yeah.
Now they have to face City. I don't think that – I mean, anyone buying a ticket to G-Tech Community Stadium is going there to see Man City slaughter their opponent. They're not going to cheer for Brentford. They know the Bees are about to – the Bees may go extinct after this match. I don't know what's going to happen, but City is going to take it.
This is level.
Perfect picks, baby.
Yeah, this is a level-headed analysis here.
No bias.
No bias going on here.
City by 1,000.
I don't think you're super wrong. I don't think Brentford has much of a shot. They may. I don't know if City will be able to blank them though, because this Brentford is able to score. Like they have not been, at least in their last 5, they've scored at least one. That's why I have it as 4-1. Maybe something as silly as when when Burnley ruined my perfect pick during on Wednesday. But this time I've planned for it, so I think it'll be fine. So that brings us to the end of match day 23. And before we go, though, in the last episode, we provided you with the question for our trivia. It was, who is tied with Alan Shearer for the most penalty misses in Premier League history? Got that right?
Yep.
Go ahead and drop your comments down below who you think it is while I contemplate here. Now, I did get in between our recordings here, I did get a little bit of a hint from Keegan here. He dropped me a little bit of hint. Not an active player. Has played within the last 10 seasons. That's what I got. Which only narrows it down to like a couple hundred people. But but someone who took... I can't decide which penalty taker it would be. My guess, and I don't know if it's a good guess or not, because I can't remember if he took a lot of penalties. My guess is going to be... boy, I feel like this is not good. My guess is going to be Wayne Rooney. I don't think... he hasn't been quite retired for 10 years yet, has he? I'm going with Wayne Rooney as a shot in the dark here.
You would be correct.
Wow.
Wayne Rooney is tied with Alan Shearer at 11 missed penalties.
11
in the Premier League. Teddy Sheringham is second place at 10. But yeah, that was a good guess. That was a good one.
I am shocked. I am pleased. I'm tickled by that. I did not expect that to get that correct.
You're 2-1 so far since we started our trivia.
Listen, the picks are picking up. My trivia's picking up. Listen, things are shaping up for it to be a good second half of the season, all right? If only my Wolves could come through for me, then it can actually be one. So we will be back on the other side of this weekend with a recap episode on Tuesday is when that will be posted. And then we'll come back, next Friday or Saturday or something like that for probably Friday with an episode for match day 24. But in the meantime, why don't you go ahead and grab some coffee, watch some soccer, and we'll see you on the other side. La Red Federe.